Terrence Hill Jr. Who? I don't know, but he's the hero of the day. Terrence Hill Jr. made a step-back dagger three-pointer with 15 seconds left in overtime. And VCU, the 11th seed, the reason this is such an amazing story is they were down 19 points in the second half. And they made that all go away. And the stunner from down under, well, not quite, but North Carolina, number 6 seed. Na 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 na, la 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 la, hey, goodbye. Yeah, they're out. First round of the tournament yet again. And this guy, Terrence Hill Jr., finished with a bunch of 3 points in the second. 3 points. It was 7 of 10 from 3-point range, 20 of his 34 after halftime. So VCU, who's got a nice record, and no one of these teams that didn't play anybody, they're all saying, hey, well, these big schools don't want to play us, and they win their first tournament game in a decade. So this was a bracket buster for many. There were a couple bracket busters. The better story, though, for talk radio is in the losing locker room. And North Carolina up 19 points, and Henry Vassar, who's also projected to be a first-round pick, late first-round pick. He had 26 for the Tar Heels, 10 rebounds. But North Carolina, they lost Caleb Wilson, who's projected as a top 5, top 10 pick in the NBA draft. He got out. He was ruled out with injury late in the season there, and North Carolina played 3 games without Wilson, and loss. So let us discuss. That's a good jumping off point. Let us discuss the question: does North Carolina, an iconic basketball program, get a mulligan because they played without their star player, Caleb Wilson, and so it's okay to lose in overtime to VCU? So I've got former teammate, Carnival Cruise Line, and Casey Kasem. 3 things that have never, ever been put together, and we are going to soak them in a bag is what we're going to do. Now, speaking of in the bag, North Carolina in the bag, as the body bag, they go down. The Tar Heels. Now, my take here is going to surprise you. All right, they absolutely do not get a mulligan. There's no Maller mulligan. No. It's not how this works. That is not how any of this works. But they're just student athletes. Those guys are all making more than I am. I'm a middle-aged man. I've been in radio 30 years. They're making more money than I am. All right, so shut up with that. This is North Carolina. This is blue blood behemoth. The cathedral of college basketball, the Dean Dome, all that crap. And it's like, come on. As our former teammate, Doug Gottlieb, who quit to coach in Green Bay, actually he kept the job for a while, then quit. Gottlieb said, this is not nobody you. There's no moral victories here. The report card, the Maller report card reads DNMS. Did not meet standard. Did not meet standard. That is what the report card reads. Now, as for Caleb Wilson's injury, listen, it sucks. It's the atomic elbow. You know, it's rotten eggs. That's why they play the games. You got to pick it up. You know, you lose a guy here and there. I was, well, he's so good, blah, blah, blah. But this is the big boy pay-to-play NIL era of basketball, the portal. All these guys are free agents every year. And it's not shirts and skins at the YMCA on a Saturday morning. So do your job. Next man up. Not nobody step up, which is what happened here. Instead, they folded. It's one thing if they were trailing the entire game and it was close. They had a 19-point lead. In college basketball, that's like a 38-point lead compared to the NBA. 19 points. No excuses, no exemptions, no emotional escape hatch, only the portal. And simply stated, again, not good enough. Do better, be better. Although this team will never play again because they'll be a different group of players, and then people will freak out about that the following year. Now, turning the page, on CBS, or was it True TV? I don't know. I just kept my right hand was getting a workout. I don't know what channels I was watching. I think some of it was CBS. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. If you offered me $1 million, I wouldn't know. It's one of the channels the games was on. I was flipping around. So I think it was CBS, but it might have been True TV. I don't know. So they were trying to explain how the Tar Heels gagged. And Bruce Pearl, this guy entered the chat. So let me frame the question this way. So Bruce Pearl claimed that fatigue was a factor as to why North Carolina lost to VCU in overtime. Is this acceptable, or are we just lowering the bar yet again? So again, Bruce Pearl, who coached a long time, and so long when he first started. Well, not when his first, one of the early jobs when he was in Milwaukee. We had him on. I was doing a show with Looney on the weekends, and we used to every once in a while chat to Bruce Pearl, and he went on to coach at some big schools, had some success and all that, and a lot of scandals, which is now just commerce in college sports. So is what Bruce Pearl claimed, fatigue, is this acceptable, or are we just lowering the bar again? So this is March Madness, I think. I mean, every 2 minutes they're telling us it's March Madness, and they're showing us cheerleaders, and they're showing us people with their faces painted, and kids crying, and yeah. This is not a Carnival Cruise Line limbo contest, although it appears to be based on that commentary. How low can you go? How low can you go? Do the limbo. Do the limbo when it comes to excuses. And as far as fatigue, again, I go back to my main point. You're big, bad North Carolina. Who do you think you are? You're not Anthony Richardson of the Colts. You don't get to tap out because you don't feel good because your legs are like overcooked spaghetti. You don't get to tap out. I don't buy it. They weren't tired. They were toast. Stop. They just didn't play well. They sucked at a time you cannot suck. And if they were tired, and even if they weren't, really, this is just a referendum on the coach, right? Hubert Davis, is he on the hot seat at North Carolina? Is there some booster that wants to get rid of Hubert Davis? Or is he going to survive this? Is he running a country club? Because if they weren't in shape, that's on the coaching staff to get the players in shape. They got to, and the training staff there, basic cardio, get them a treadmill or something like that. And how about halftime adjustments? What were they doing at halftime? Did Hubert Davis pass out scoops of cookie dough ice cream and then the boys could have some Capri Suns at halftime? I mean, what are they doing? Seriously, you're up 19 in the second half. And what do I know? I just do the overnight show. I've been around basketball a long time. Was out at, interviewing guys a long time ago, old school basketball guys. And the line I always got from these guys, and I learned a lot. The person I learned the most from is dad, unfortunately, Bill Fitch. You can look him up. Who's that? He was a coach of the Celtics and the Clippers. I was around him with the Clippers, and he gave me all these little fun factoids about basketball life and all that. He essentially said that every game, if both teams play hard, my man. No, he didn't say that. If teams play well and they're fundamentally sound, every game should be decided in the final 5 minutes. That was in the NBA. But also, if you have a big lead, if you build up a big lead and you just play fundamentally sound basketball, that you play defense, you rebound, you box out, all that stuff, that you're going to win. There's no way to come back. And yet, they blow a 19-point lead. So, Hubert Davis, I believe he's 8-4 now in the tournament, which is fine. They did make a Final Four. He's only been there a few years. They made the Final Four. It's not elite. It's okay. It's just okay for Hubert Davis. And it's dressed up in that iconic Carolina blue. The thing that is going to sting, and this is why you have to put Hubert Davis on the watch list at least, is North Carolina has now lost in the round of 64, which is really the first round. Nobody counts those games in Dayton. So the round of, because no one's watching them, the round of 64 in consecutive tournaments for the first time since 1985. Ronald Reagan was in the White House in 1985. That was before the Berlin Wall came tumbling down, and wowzers. All right, now last word here. So going up to 30,000 feet, it's time now for the sampler plate. What else, here's the question, what else stood out on day number one of the AA tournament? So I jotted down on my notes app on my phone. I don't have a notepad. I'm very technical, tech savvy, and I have a notes app on my phone. I jot down little notes when I'm watching. So I jotted down, not cornballs, I jotted down corn huskers as Nebraska wins a game. The curse is dead. pigs are flying. It's amazing. They weren't just a basketball program, Nebraska. They were a mathematical anomaly. Now, I didn't even realize this going into the tournament. You just don't really think about Nebraska as a basketball school, and you really haven't thought about them as a football school in many, many years. They used to be really good at football. But this is wild. So a Power 5 team with a postseason resume of a JV basketball squad, as Nebraska becomes the last Power 5 school to win a March Madness game. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Feel good for Ned in Nebraska and all my guys in Nebraska that are fans of the show. Some of you don't even care about Nebraska Cornhuskers basketball. Then I saw this quote, which I thought was fake. I think it's legit. You never know anymore. I double-checked it, and to the best of my ability, I believe this to be a legitimate quote. A guard for Nebraska, Braden Frager, I believe is his name, he dropped the wackadoodle quote that sounded so ridiculous, you thought, well, this must be one of those parody satire accounts, or it came from a fortune cookie that was written by someone who's never seen a basketball game in college. The quote was, "We didn't come to win one, we came to win two," was the quote. Yeah, unfortunately, you have to win more than that to get to the Final Four and all that. I felt like this was a tribute to the late, great Casey Kasem, a DJ, famous DJ from back in the day. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the middle. It's not exactly how the quote goes, but nonetheless. Now, the big one, the big kahuna here was Duke. The Duke Blue Devils, Cameron Boozer, and the Blue Devils avoiding ridicule, avoiding disaster, and the massive March Madness upset as they took on number 16 Siena. And even though they won the game, Duke did come back and win the game. They had a late charge to win this game. Duke became the first ever number one to trail by double digits at halftime against the number 16 seed. Coach K is turning over in his grave right now. He's like, what happened? What are we doing here? That's kind of like owning a yacht, a really expensive luxury yacht, and then almost drowning in a bathtub. Like seriously. So history says they're dead, by the way. Teams that have played as poorly as Duke did, even though they won, usually do not end up doing much in the tournament. And then you have the star of stars in day one of the tournament, a player that will be playing for some crappy NBA team down the Winnemucca Road next season, questioning, why am I playing in Sacramento? I don't understand. Shouldn't I be somewhere else? Why am I in Utah? Why am I in Washington? We're talking about BYU star A.J. DiBanza, who became the first freshman to score 30 or more points in the round of 64 since Steph Curry. I don't know what happened to him. I mean, I think he's selling insurance right now, right? He's just a TV pitchman, Steph Curry. That was 17 years ago. Oh, my God. What were you doing 17 years ago? I was doing this. I was talking about Steph Curry 17 years ago. I said, I think that guy will be okay in the NBA out of Davidson. Well, anyway, the Cougars lost, so they're out. And DiBanza will now run off to the NBA to make more money. He's already making a lot at BYU. Then you had Little High Point, which sounds like a fake school. Doesn't that sound like a fake school? Little High Point from North Carolina took down the Badgers of Wisconsin. So they're out. Get out of here. And now everyone's under the spell of High Point. I can go on my whole rant here if you want. I do it every year about the tournament and how upside down it is. And all you people that rant and rave, I love Cinderella. You just don't want to watch it. You just want a little bit. It's like, just take a little bit. I don't know if I want that much of it. I don't know if I can handle that much of it.